Yeah. Hello, everybody. And today we are going to discuss on the budget which was tabled yesterday on February 1st, 2026. Probably the center had selected yesterday because it was a Paurnami and they worked on a Sunday to show to Indians that don't sleep on Sundays, be awake, and you have lots of work to do. So, the day before the budget on a Saturday, the economic survey was tabled by our Honorable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitaraman ma'am, and they had shared details of the vision which the country has for this year, financial year, and for the next decade to come. And the financial advisor had also told that we are on a positive mode with the country moving from fifth position to the position in the world. We have reached the fourth position in the world, and it was interesting to note that Elon Musk has observed that India has beaten US in as a country which contributes more to the relevant GDP of the whole world. So there are lots of positive aspects, and which means you have to work even more better, especially being doctors, the allopathic and the Ayush community in serving the interest of the country. So this budget was historical because India crossed the 1 lakh mark. Okay, so we have 1 lakh crore mark and a trillion rupees, a trillion rupees have been allocated to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So, congratulations, dear motherland, that you reached this mark. So, when experts comment on the amount which has to be allocated for a budget for the health and welfare, they tell that it should be at least 10 to 12% of your GDP. While India has always been earmarking only less than 1% of the budget for health and welfare. I would like to question such experts who tell why should India even try to earmark 10% of its GDP? Because look at the population of the country, 140 crore. Even when an epidemic has struck, right? Even after it has struck, we have not come down in the population, right? So it shows that we are healthy genetically, and the food practices which we follow, which can be attributed to the Tamil and Sanskrit medicine and the other medicines prevalent in India, the Arabian, the Persian, the Unani, and the yoga system, the Ayush system, which we popularly call. So, are these practices responsible for longevity of our countrymen and the populous country, this state of ours? So, this being the case, why should we even think of allocating more than 1 to 2% of the budget? Is my question. I am happy that Indians have earmarked 1%, and we would like to travel in the same trajectory for some time till, and it itself shows that the country is healthy, right? You're not earmarking much amount for some emergency or trauma or some infectious disease, right? You are born immune and you shall be immune. This is what it shows. So first, let us try to understand the Ministry of the modern medicine, Western medicine budget, and then go to the Ayush budget. So, as I've already discussed, 1,06,530.42 crore has been allocated, which is a 10% increase from last year. Last year it was around 89,000 crores. And Nirmala Sitaraman ma'am started off with telling that they want to start a national center in northern India for the mental health welfare of the North Indians. And they would be starting NIMHANS, and with its apex centers being at Ranchi and Tezpur. So, for allopathic and Ayush doctors and common man, there are fans of Ayush medicine who always want that Ayush also reaches that 1 lakh crore, right? So, you should all understand that even though the central government allocates budget for allopathic field of pharmacy or hospitals, now that India is going towards integration, along with allopathic doctors reaping the benefits of this budget, there would also be Ayush doctors who will be involved in all allopathic care centers, and hence the Ayush doctors will also be tertiary beneficiaries. Okay, they would not be seen as the they would tangible source, right? The tangible people would be the modern Western medicine, and intangible, right? The hidden benefits would also reach the modern Western, sorry, Ayush doctors that you have in mind. So FMM has also discussed as to how 5 medical tourism hubs would be established in partnership with private sector. This is very important. Again, as I told, this is not just earmarked for allopathy. Medical tourism, in last year budget itself, India has proposed that Ayush tourism would be promoted. And when I has attended a seminar, I found that the government submitted that there were say 10 to 50 people who have selected Ayush visa. I don't remember, it was just countable numbers from different countries, so they are just setting the process in with different countries, have already reaped the benefits of Ayush visa. What would be special about Ayush visa? Look at the way the government is thinking, because a normal visa will have some mechanisms. While you give an Ayush, while you take an Ayush visa, the government will be able to track and connect this tourist to specific Ayush specialty hospitals, and best services would reach the tourist. And we would also be able to track who is delivering what benefit. We will also have a control mechanism as to who is coming into India and going to into India, and the quality of services shall also be can also be controlled. Right, this is one of the success which India has hit as an Ayush practitioner. And so, this medical tourism hub, in the name of medical tourism hub, they have tied up with 5 private players, allopathy players. They have not mentioned Ayurveda players for now. Why? Because it is a huge industry, and they would be surely connecting with centers like Kotakal or Dabur, and the huge players as Zando or other hospitals. SKM, there is one Ayurveda hospital in the north, and huge hospitals would with they would be surely coming and connect with them, I'm sure. So Apollo, Max, Fortis, Dr. Lal Path Labs, and Metropolis are these would be developed as 5 medical tourism hubs for both allopathy and Ayurveda. How will Ayurveda come into play into allopathic centers is your doubt. People who are not aware of what is happening in Apollo hospitals, it is a 2 or 3 year old news. Apollo has already got stakes of 65% from an Ayush hospital, Ayurveda, and it has already started its full-fledged centers and practice in Chennai. So Ayurveda was set up by Dr. Rajiv, and I think it is a Karnataka-based Ayush chain of hospitals, and this has been inculcated. This has gone into a partnership with Apollo. So just like Apollo, they would be encouraging probably Max, Fortis, and Dr. Path Labs and Metropolis. All allopathy centers will start taking Ayush projects and setting Ayush centers and employing Ayush doctors. So the job opportunities for Ayush doctors is going to increase. And by ensuring that huge allopathic chains are involved, they are also ensuring that proper revenue and proper quality and proper standardization would be involved, and it would be even easy for clinical trials and researches to be carried out in these centers in integrated model. And if at all some emergency also arises, they can be easily referred to such centers, and there would be lots of respect for such centers, because both allopathy and Ayurveda are involved. This is one of the most beautiful agenda which the center has set. And then 50% expansion in emergency and trauma care capacity they would be doing. And they have given relief to 17 drugs of medicines for cancer from basic customs, and 36 other drugs for also immunotherapy and other serious conditions, blood related disorders. They have given off for GST. We, as Ayush Association, had requested the center to provide GST relief for Rasaushadis, and also to set centers which would control the price increase in price of Rasaushadis like metals and mercurials. We have not yet got reply in this budget. We would again write to the FM to throw light on the challenges which the Ayush industry has, because when allopathic drugs are given exemption from customs, it would be nice if Ayush drugs are also given exemption. I'm sure the center will work on it in few years. And it's a challenge for the center, because the cost of the metals are increasing as gold, and import duty would be increasing. And then how would you keep the price rise in control of Ayush medicines? That's a huge challenge. I'm pretty sure the center will work on it. And the center is planning to add 1 lakh allied health professionals over the course of next 5 years in the disciplines of optometry, radiology, anesthesia, OT technology, applied psychology. And that's a thing which we have to appreciate, because increasing the human capital is very, very important. We find it as a huge challenge to get quality labor in these times, and increasing the skill of such professionals is going to only add to the quality of the medical service which we offer to the common man. Next sixer is the Biopharma Shakti, where they are planning to invest 10,000 crore for the across next 5 years. What is this Biopharma Shakti? For people who are unaware of bio, whenever the word bio is there, you must understand that live cells are there. So this is one part of the science, medical science, live sciences, where also biotechnology is involved, where you use the live cells of a person to treat another person, like blood transfusion, breast milk, fecal transplants, and immune bodies, right? Immunoglobulins in COVID. So such things have a huge market in the medicine, and it does huge service to the people who are sick. So we have, as Ayush practitioners, we know that the immune therapy has got its own challenges, right? Doesn't give 100% relief. All therapies have got its own challenges. So even then, any person who belongs to different types of works or different categories would want to experience such benefits, and it's the responsibility of the government to develop such therapies and develop such sciences for the benefit of the country, and we have to appreciate this. Why should we also appreciate this 10,000 crore program? Is because over the 5 years, is because the vaccine industry has welcomed this move. Now, is Dr. Meera for vaccine is a different question, right? I may or may not be for vaccine, but I am not surely for compulsory vaccination. Okay, you go to a shop and get a hair remover. They ask you to apply the hair remover on your hand, and if you have an allergy, they ask you not to use it, right? So that being the case, I am sure that India shall take a stand where they give the freedom of selection of the vaccine to the common man. Okay, but there are people who would 100% want to take vaccines, and we should not stop at any point in their acceptance. As we have relatives for and against Ayurveda, for and against allopathy, certain drugs, and for and against therapies, and for and against vaccines. So let us accept it. So that, but anyway, that is my personal opinion. So this is going to be a huge benefit for the Indian nation, and hence I'm for it. Why? Because what happened during COVID vaccine? We must understand that the country has a single center called Serum Institute of India by Adar Poonawalla, and there is another one institute in Hyderabad, I think, who developed these vaccines. To my knowledge, when I looked into the profile of these companies, the vaccine is the final product which these companies do, while the basic products are all imported from European Union, from America and Australia, right? And we are the manufacturers, and we are the exporters of 60, we contribute to 60% of vaccines across the world. That being the case, what happened during COVID vaccine was, although we had the knowledge of preparing a vaccine, the patents lied with the foreign nations. When the patents lie with foreign nations alone, it is a huge challenge for the economy and the safety of our Indian countrymen, right? That happened with COVID vaccines. So developing, investing 10,000 crore for vaccine industry also is going to let us enjoy the freedom of manufacturing, preparing the vaccines, and letting Indians use Indian made vaccines. Again, there were Indians who wanted the Johnson and Johnson vaccine, and there were people who wanted Indian vaccines. I mean, that freedom also we have to give to our countrymen. We have 140 crore people here. जो कुछ चाहिए वो तो एंजॉय करेंगे हम, वो कोई भी पूछ नहीं सकते, right? So that being the case, and there were people who decided against Johnson and Johnson after seeing reports, and against Indian vaccines after the reports, looking at the components, because the components of vaccine, everybody is not for the components of vaccine, right? So we can develop our own components which we like to, right? Not say, I am speaking about the bovine vaccine. Okay, so we can create our own cell lines and our own science in preparing these vaccines, and this is here hugely appreciable. And for this, the central government is planning to start upgrade 7 NIPERs, is National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, and also setting through 3 NIPER, National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education. They are very clear about it. And also, this is also going to help in preparing our own bio-based medicines. Like, for example, even our painkillers, many of our allopathic medicines are all derived from herbs. Artemisinin, right? Anti-malarial drug are all derived from herbs. They just take one active principle and then they start biomanufacturing in the companies and it becomes an allopathic drug. So they've derived it from a plant, but that chemical becomes allopathic when only one single active principle is used. That is the logic of allopathic industry. And so here they are going to start more of the allopathic pharmaceuticals. And we have to encourage because the world likes, because Indians, many of them, they still like allopathy. So we are for the country. And one thing, great thing to be appreciated is the they are planning to start a nationwide network of 1,000 accredited clinical trial sites. I again welcome it. Now, 1,000 sites to start and make them into motion, to make them into successful centers is not an easy job. It's not like taking your roti and putting like wheat flour, putting salt and making into rotis, or have some rice and make some kanji, or like taking a making a tomato juice, right? It's a huge challenge. 1,000 accredited clinical trial sites. I'm happy because at last the government has woken up. We are running short of clinical trials. Whenever we submit some successful medicine, may it be allopathic or Ayurvedic, we do not stand the standards of the modern Western medicines, clinical research, right? Are we for modern Western clinical research parameters? It is again divided. I may not be for setting up of research protocols based on modern Western medicine parameters, which even they themselves are questioning. So which means we should not ape the West, but we should form our own protocols for setting Ayurvedic clinical trials and even modern Western medicine clinical trials. Okay, so for that such questions, so we have to be vociferous and start telling our thoughts with the common man so that we devise our own best clinical trial parameters. It is possible, right? Because it is in India itself. It is easy to speak to our own politicians than to Westerners. There is no what do you say? There are no blockade between us and the chief minister and us and the Ayush minister and us and the prime minister, right? We have our own media and we can voice our concerns through the media, through any of these channels, the executive, legislature, judiciary, media, and we are the common man. The common man should always voice his thoughts through, we have social media also. So we can set the best clinical registries in our own places. And I welcome this move also. And so this is with respect to the allopathic pharma. And again, the government is proposing to start government will add 10,000 medical education seats in the coming year itself, as a larger plan to add 75,000 seats over the next 5 years. So of these 10,000 seats, it's only allopathic. And where are Ayush seats? Are the government proposing to even increase Ayush seats? To my knowledge, no. Let us be frank and let us understand the ground reality. Last year, I recall reading that in Maharashtra, 140 seats were not filled even after the first or second round, and they were going again to take another round for the government center. And in Tamil Nadu, an Ayurveda college has been closed. Okay, that is the situation. And you ask investors if they would want to start an Ayurveda college or an allopathic college. There would be probably Deshbaks who want to start Ayurveda colleges. Will the Deshbak start this Ayurveda college or an allopathic college, which will give him more returns? That's what we will also think of, because you have to have a successful model to start an Ayurveda college. The ground reality is, let me tell you, after doing the NEET, every child wants to take allopathic stream or BDS stream, and the last choice is Ayush, except for hand-picked children, right? There was a state first Maharashtrian student 3 years back who selected Ayurveda only and not allopathy who came. But when I go to give talks to Ayurvedic centers, all the children will have a sad face on the day when I give them a talk, as a welcoming address to join the Ayush colleges. They'll all be sad and dejected because they all wanted to join allopathy and they had no choice and they are here. So this is a huge challenge to why is this so? What is the center and state go to do about this is my question. Why is this so? It's because the people, the children do not know the reality behind this budget, right? They all think that Ayurveda has been just given 4,000 crore in the budget. The parents would think, right? And allopathy has been given 1 lakh budget. They do not know that the final beneficiary from now on, please listen to it, from now on, even Ayush doctors shall be the beneficiaries. How? Because 5 medical tourism hubs have been started with allopathic hospitals, and the beneficiary, the tertiary beneficiaries would be also Ayush system, because they have started giving the Ayush visa, and Ayush doctors shall be employed in all these Ayush therapy centers which are started by the allopathic colleges also. And they don't know the potential of being an Ayurveda doctor, a successful Ayurveda doctor at all. So it is got, and also children, you or parents should look at our friends, our allopathic doctors like Dr. Pal, who shares videos with his allopathic friends in Tamil Nadu, who do Swiggy service in the nights. There are also articles, right, who sell toys in the roads and other jobs for running their life, right? Whatever be the life, whatever be the arts you take, maybe medicine or any system, you have to put hard work and you will be successful, right? So, right, anyway, so how are they going to attract good quality students into Ayush stream is a headache which the center and state across India should take into their hands, I mentioned. And the second thing, the Supreme Court always gives judgment that it shall not give equal pay to Ayush doctors. We have questioned this, and we've requested it to our FM also. I feel Ayush doctors should be given equal pay with allopathic doctors for no other reason than one, the Panchakarma therapies for autoimmune diseases are 100% are successful, and many cancerous autoimmune IBS conditions and rheumatoid arthritis conditions, which you take lakhs and lakhs of rupees, can be managed successfully with these Panchakarma therapies, which are very, very efficacious in even a short duration. One, two, when an epidemic comes, the Ayush doctor is ready to give his prescription from any corner of the world without requiring the acceptance from the World Health Organization also, because the texts have already given him the yukti, or the idea of writing a prescription for any new disease without even clinical trial. So this idea, this yukti also he has. So for these two reasons, when an epidemic comes, the whole country is going to look at the Ayush doctor. Wouldn't you want to pay this Ayush doctor an equal pay with the allopathic doctor, is my question. They would also always argue that in emergency, it is only the allopathic doctors who treat, and you don't work for 24 hours. Make them work for 24 hours, give them job. Who is asking you to stop? It is not our problem, number one. While anatomy doctors and physiology doctors who don't do night duty are given equal pay in government services, why not an Ayurveda doctor? Can't you even treat him on par with a theoretical anatomy or a physiology doctor, right? This is a huge jagada, and we will continue the jagada. Okay, so this is very important that you announce equal pay to the Ayush physician, so that for one reason, children will read Ayush with interest. Okay, we have to. The children will have interest to listen to the class and happiness to go through this BAMS, BSMS, BNYS, or BOMS studies. Okay, so with this, we will start with our discussion on what was given for the modern Western medicine, and Ayush doctors shall also be the tertiary beneficiaries. Now we are going to the Ayurveda budget. See, the Ayurveda budget, the center has told that it has given a 20% increase from the last year. Last year, till now, it was 12 to 14% increase every year. But last year, they had declared 3,900 crores and odd, but they have only spent 3,600 crores and odd. So this is the revised estimate for which they give 20%. Otherwise, this is actually the same 12 to 14%. So the government wants to show to us that it is very, it likes Ayush and it is working for Ayush. That is why it is quoting that it has given 20% increase, and we are getting 4,400 crores. So the reading which goes is very few lines when you compare it with the allopathic, discussion, but it is very, very, very deep. Okay. So our Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ma'am has proposed that 3 All India Institute of Ayurveda shall be set. in India to meet the global demand for Ayurvedic medicine. All India Institute of Ayurveda, one is there in Delhi, one is there in Goa. Where would they start the next Ayurveda? All India Institute of Ayurveda, 28 states are there. Every state is going to fight for one if the chief ministers are or vociferous, or the health ministers in every state should ask, right? Are they all asking for an all Indian institute? Everybody should fight for an all India Institute for Ayurveda in their state. Will they do that? So they should fight. Then only they will start more centers. And we have, I am from Tamil Nadu. One is there in National Institute of Siddha is there in Tamil Nadu. But there is huge policy differences between the center and state because of Sanskrit and Tamil in Tamil Nadu. So I don't know if the state is going to ask for it. And I feel the central government should have clear policy regarding how they are going to encourage the practice of Ayurveda, Sanskrit-based medicine in Tamil Nadu. If they are not able to uplift Ayurveda doctors through the state government, I request that the state government attach these Ayush colleges with IITs or Central Institute of Sanskrit so that they get proper funds and proper teaching for no other reason than that the children who are themselves Tamilians would be happy throughout their course, would come out as happy doctors after their course. Okay, and so All India Institute of Ayurveda, they're going to start 3, and our FM, Srimati Nirmala Sitaraman ma'am, also discussed on the significance of World Health Organization's Global Trade Traditional Medicinal Center. To my knowledge, 8 crores they have already spent in, for the laying the foundation of GCTM, and they are to spend 25 crores totally till the 2036 for policy making alone. What is this Global Center of Traditional Medicine? It is going to be the head of all the traditional medicine practices across India at Gujarat. So in India, we will have our own center, which is the head of all the traditional medicine systems. It could be America or Europe or England or Australia. So it is a very proud moment. Why is she telling this? There we are already started making policy for evidence and learning, data and analytics, sustainability and equity and innovation. For these, the policies are being made of, and Ayush doctors in very short time, when you are as old as me, you will have huge future in this center. Now, there's another point. Why I was thinking of, why is the center not able to allocate more fund for Ayush when you compare it with modern Western medicine? It is because the country has been sleeping post independence. We were not proud of our and not confident of Ayush systems till COVID came, right? Till COVID came, even the media was completely against Ayush system. Thankfully, after COVID, there are plenty of media channels who are working for, who are voicing also Ayush therapies. Number one. Number two, let us understand that the modern Western medicine is being run. The innovation and the clinical trials are mostly made not in India but in Western countries. Of course, we respect the ICMR. It is also bringing up lots of allopathic medicines, right? So most of the clinical trials, it is being designed in US or UK or Europe. And for that matter, the vaccines are being tested even in rhesus monkeys even till date. While setting an animal testing lab is not at all possible in India with monkeys, because we have the PETA activists, right? They will not allow you to do any animal experiments also. Why am I discussing this? Is this huge amount of money and lobby in the pharmaceutical industry of modern Western medicine, and the government is also getting lots of revenue from the Western medicine, while it's not the case with the Ayush industry, with the pharma industry. Although Ayush medicinal industry, I found out that it is 1.75 lakh crore is being made in the medicine industry and the service industry by the Ayush industry, okay, which is less compared with the allopathic industry. So that being the case, the center is not able to allocate funds, number one. Number two, the beneficiaries in the Ayush industry are not well developed as the allopathic industry. You very clearly have different skilled people in allopathic industry, while it's not the case in the Ayush industry also. So this is being developed in the GCTM. So budget has been allocated for that, number two. And the allocation for All India Institute of Ayurveda has been reduced by 12%, and the funding for Institute of Teaching and Research in Ayurveda has also declined. So how has Ayush benefited in this budget is, It is the tertiary benefits through the budgeting of the modern Western medicine, and also the work at GCTM has begun. And the main point which FM ma'am, I think she did not discuss in the parliament is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, he has signed the mother of all trade agreements with the EU. This is one important point which the common man and the Ayush doctors will have to carry in the mind. Last week, the Prime Minister openly called for to Ayush doctors and Ayush pharmacies to be ready, because in 1 year the EU agreement will come into action. What have they asked the EU? EU is a group of the European countries, right? 17, 18 nations, to my knowledge. Germany, European nations like Britain, France, everything is there. Italy is there. Okay. What is the agreement is the people, the governments in these nations must allow Ayush practitioners to treat their common man, and they should bring in policy changes so that Ayush practitioners who are there in Europe shall be able to practice without fear. This is surely the mother of all trade agreements in history of India. Not just India, but globally itself, because they would be able to get proper Ayush advice from Ayush doctors, right? That's really a fantastic deal which we've strived, but we have a long way to go, right? Miles to go before we sleep. We cannot sleep the Ayush practitioners, because you have to reach to the Europe, you have to share the ideas with Europeans. What are you going to upgrade? I'm pretty sure the pharmacies like us, I am a director of IMCOPS, we have to upgrade ourselves so that we are able to export our medicines to EU. How are we going to upgrade? You have to change your bottles, you have to change your stickers, you have to go to their standards. What standards are they going to ask? Heavy metals is a huge question. We have to reply to the European nations. How are you going to take your heavy metals scientifically? How are you going to ensure that your organic herbs do not carry any heavy metals? Come on. So this is why the scientific budget has been allocated, and that 10,000 crore has gone to Biopharma. There I'm sure the Indian government will sit and form the framework of how to do a clinical trial, right? So we have a long way to go. And so this is February, right? Anyway, I wish a happy New Year in the first quarter of the year, and I start wishing from the last month of the year. So wish you all very happy New Year, happy budgeting, and we'll look into other parameters of our common man's life also, and people who belong to the states who are going to vote have all these mind, and we are the fifth leg of democracy. We shall vote, and we shall encourage whoever be our state governments to work for the health and welfare of we all Indians and the world. Thank you all.